Despite the long-standing rivalry between Marvel and DC, many actors have managed to work for both. The truth is, they don't really care about rivalries. They care about who pays them well. In the world of acting, there's no shame in switching teams, much like basketball players do. The purpose of this video is to show you, or remind you, of some of the actors who have worked for both Marvel and DC. Let's see how many of the actors on this list you knew about. Halle Berry. She is an Oscar-winning actress, which is quite rare among those who have worked for both Marvel and DC. In DC, she played the iconic Catwoman. Unfortunately, the film did not do the character justice, but that was definitely not her fault. Despite her immense talent, she couldn't save the film on her own, as the script and direction didn't do her any favors. Fortunately, her bad experience with DC didn't stop her from participating in X-Men, as she had already joined the franchise before. It would have been a real shame if she hadn't, because we would have missed out on the legendary performance she delivered as Storm. She brought the comic book character to life in a way that few actresses could. Just admit it. Every time she appeared on screen with her powers, she stole the show. I honestly hope they bring her character back in future MCU movies. I truly miss seeing her as Storm. Ben Affleck. Yes, it's true. Jennifer Lopez's ex-husband has appeared in both Marvel and DC films. You might not remember, or maybe you never knew, but Ben Affleck once played Daredevil on the big screen in the movie Daredevil the Man Without Fear. Many of you are probably more familiar with the more recent and popular version of the character, portrayed by Charlie Cox. But no, that's obviously not the version Affleck played. His Daredevil was from an earlier era. You might not know about this Daredevil movie because the movie didn't make that much success. Affleck himself has admitted that the movie wasn't great, but he gave superhero acting another shot, this time with the original hero, not the copy. Batman v Superman was his first film in the DC universe, and we can say he did a great job as Bruce Wayne. Every time he appeared on screen to fight, everyone was captivated, which is exactly what you expect when watching Batman. For me, it's a shame that the Snyderverse ended the way it did. I honestly believe it had a lot of potential, and I also feel that Affleck's Batman could have been explored so much more. But life is life, and I guess I have to accept that I will never see his Batman on the big screen again. Michael Fassbender. Michael Fassbender gave us the pleasure of witnessing his incredible talent in the Marvel Universe by portraying one of the most iconic X-Men characters ever, Magneto. More specifically, he played the younger version of Magneto, bringing such depth and intensity to the role that you almost feel like you are experiencing the pain and struggles his character endured due to his tragic life story. It's funny though, he actually worked for DC before taking on the role of Magneto. I bet you didn't know that. Fassbender made his DC debut in 2010, playing Burke in the movie Jonah Hex. It's not a film that's really worth much attention, so it's a good thing he eventually found his way to the X-Men series, where he truly shined. Chris Pine. You probably recognize him most for his role as Steve Trevor in the Wonder Woman films, where he portrayed the only man to have set foot on the land of the Amazons. Well, not literally. Actually, it doesn't mean set foot there as well. But to be fair, he's the only one who really got to know the island better, and he was also the first. He played a significant role in helping Diana understand the world and experience various emotions, but I think we all know how his story ended. In the Marvel Universe, he lent his voice to Peter Parker in Miles Morales' universe in the movie Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Without giving any spoilers, because this happens literally in the first few minutes, his role didn't last very long. Although the roles he has played are quite relevant to their respective stories, maybe Chris Pine will eventually land a part in these universes that lasts a bit longer. And perhaps next time he works with Marvel, it will be not as a voice actor, but as an on-screen actor. Let me know in the comments which Marvel character you think he would fit well as. Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin has appeared in 2 Marvel projects, and one of those roles has made his name synonymous with the character. But surprisingly, and perhaps you didn't know this either, he also starred in a DC movie. Otherwise, he wouldn't be on this list. So I guess it's not that surprising after all. Remember the movie I mentioned earlier, Jonah Hex? Well, Josh Brolin was the protagonist of that film. The movie was a box office failure, which might be why neither you nor I had ever heard of it, and as a result, we didn't know that Josh Brolin had been in a DC film. However, thanks to the more successful roles he's played, this one is often forgotten. In the Marvel Universe, he portrayed Cavill in Deadpool 2, a character from the future who was initially believed to be the film's villain. But I think everyone knows the best comic-based role he's ever played, which took the level of villains in cinema to new heights. Yes, that's right, Thanos, the greatest villain the Avengers have faced so far. So, I guess we had Thanos and Magneto, the 2 most legendary antagonists of the 2 most legendary Marvel teams in the cinema, working together in the same movie. But that might change in the near future. What do you think? Will Doctor Doom be a better villain than Thanos? Hugo Weaving. You might know him best as Agent Smith, the iconic villain from The Matrix. But to the surprise of some, he has also worked for both Marvel and DC. In Marvel, you'd recognize him as the character who played a crucial role in the first Captain America movie, and later in Infinity War and Endgame. Though he wasn't the actor who portrayed the character in the latter 2 films. In 2012, Weaving brought to life one of Captain America's most iconic villains, Red Skull, with a dark and distinct appearance. I think now you get why it may be a surprise for some of you. Funny enough, this role carries a similar dark aura to another of his characters, V, the DC anti-hero he portrayed in V for Vendetta. V is a freedom fighter who opposes the totalitarian regime of his country. Despite the stark differences between the characters, both wear masks that make it difficult to recognize the actor's face, so it's understandable if you didn't realize it was him. Henry Cavill. This was a very recent signing. Everyone knows him for portraying the most iconic superhero in history, Superman. Unfortunately, things didn't work out between him and DC, so their partnership had to end. But a few months ago, without any warning, Marvel dropped a bombshell in the upcoming Deadpool and Wolverine movie. Out of nowhere, Henry Cavill appeared on the big screen playing a variant of Wolverine. And anyone who says they weren't jaw-dropped seeing him in the movie is lying. Henry Cavill playing Wolverine was something that definitely never crossed my mind. And according to Deadpool, Cavill is here to stay. Whether as a Wolverine variant or another character, what's certain is that Marvel is his new home now. Or at least, that's what Deadpool said. We all know Cavill was born to play Superman, but since that's no longer possible, I'm thrilled to know he'll be working with Marvel now. Out of the 7 actors mentioned, how many did you know or remember had worked for both Marvel and DC? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're curious to find out which characters Marvel and DC have copied from each other, you should definitely click on the video that's popping up right now. See you there.